Hello world, hopefully you can all see us and hear us. Say hi,
Hello.
Claw.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claw. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we're all here. Hopefully you can hear us all. Hopefully you can see us all. It all looks good on my end. So, welcome back to Fast Panda Gaming, where we're going to try and...
Hang on. I've got
Hi, Claw.
We're going to...
There we go.
We're going to be...
Oh, hang on, I'm annoyed still.
Look,
There we
the
go.
support staff are now ready.
Okay, as you can see, we're as professional as ever. We're going to be trying to review all the profiles we saw in Endsong week as succinctly as possible, and showing off assembled versions of the models that we were fortunate enough to get an early copy of. So we've got a Cascuda, Maximus, the Exo Officer, which is Claw's favourite, and the Initiate for Bakuna with the HVT. Did I miss
Is that
anything?
one not buried in the garden? I was expecting to be buried in the garden by now.
You know, it's not buried in the garden because he passed it over to me, so I assembled it. I quite like it.
Oh, I see. Well, okay.
You've got no taste.
Of course, I've got no taste. Right then, shall we start with the models before the close-up camera
yes.
dies? Assuming it's still working.
Yeah.
Assuming it's still working.
It appears to still be working. So, first up in front of the close-up cam is the Exo Officer. Apologies, I didn't get time to give these guys an undercoat and a dry brush with real-life stuff going on, but you can make out a good chunk of the details on it, especially if I angle it against the light correctly. It's quite a nice model, actually.
To be fair, it's an alien cyborg robot bug thing with a funny hat. From the top of their head downwards, it's all right. From the top of their heads upwards, it's just no. But the thing is, if you cover one of those horns up, it looks okay.
Okay.
It went together lovely. The two arms are separate pieces, and the contact points, especially on the hands on the skull, are quite small, but it did fit together really quite well. I was pretty pleased with how that one went together. So next up, under the close-up cam, is the Bakunin HVT. Was it initiated? I can't remember what this one was called.
I'm just enjoying you attempting to sort of do the pronunciation. To be honest,
Illuminatrix,
nice.
wasn't it?
That was
it.
Because I keep want to say Dominatrix, but it's not. It's the Illuminatrix HVT. And this one is my favourite out of all four. I think it really is nice. I like the thing she's lent against, the way it was put together, because it's like the long leg and the body are together, and everything kind of went around that. So I kind of like this one. This one is my favourite, and I think I might actually put some rest of the Bakunin together because of this model, because it really is nice. I think it's that nice.
Wow, that's high praise indeed. Again, she went together without any issues at all. I was very impressed by how the piece that she sat on with the arm coming up doesn't actually attach to the body; it attaches to the cloak effectively. So there's a little bit of flexibility if you don't have the pose spot on, you haven't positioned it exactly perfectly. You've got a little bit of flexibility with where it ends up without it looking daft. Max or the Cascuda next? Your choice, guys.
Max.
Cascuda.
Oh, okay, that's a
There
vote.
you go. Well,
One vote each, but Claw did answer first.
oh,
So there's Max. Now, I didn't assemble Max. You did, didn't you, Claw?
I did. I assembled Max, and when I put them together, if you show the breastplate, it sticks a little bit proud. There's a gap around it. I thought it was my one-handed assembly, but I've seen some of the other assemblies online from other contact, and they've all from other content providers, and they've got that gap. I'm the only one who's actually bothered filling it, so that's not fitting quite well. The rest of it, really easy, really nice. Very few heavy mold lines on it. I don't remove the mold line, so what you see on there is what you've got. You can see a very, very fine ones. Some people just, you say Siocast, and they go, oh, I don't like it. So I'm never going to convince them. But I can actually, quality of that model is really quite good.
Pretty good, isn't it?
You got it in front of you, Storm. So what's your opinion of it?
I think he's lovely. I did clean it up a little bit when I was doing the Cascuda. Just there were like a couple of mold lines as well on flat panels of armor that I took off as best I could whilst I had the knife out. But no, yeah, he's for mold lines he's better than the Cascuda. The Cascuda had quite a lot. Had quite an egregious one right round the middle. So right round, as you'll see in a second, I didn't manage to get it all off. Right round the rim of the base, in the middle of the base, there was one, which was quite annoying. But speaking of the Cascuda, and it shall appear. So there you can see I didn't manage to get that mold.
Is it going to drop in? Is it?
He is going to drop in. Very, very good. So yeah, you can see the mold line around the base.
More crash. They don't actually land. They crash. I mean that's what it is.
It's all right. It's not so much of a controlled landing as an accident.
But overall, I mean, he went together really well. I didn't have any problems putting him together. My one sort of concern was his gun arm. The only point of contact is at the wrist, and it's because he's got such skinny arms. See if I can get it on the camera. Those wrists are narrower than some heavy infantry we've got in the game. So it's not a particularly strong contact point. However, there is an unintended one at the back of the, I suppose, the stock of the gun and his forearm, which I did add a tiny dot of glue to just to give it a bit of reinforcement. But no, he went together really, really quite well. And something that hasn't been shown off in any of the pictures, he's the abdomen of the bug. He does have he's got a booty. I think is another way of phrasing it. But no, he's a very nice model. He does have a bit of the bull tracks about him.
Oh yeah.
By which I mean he's got that sort of pose where he's got an arm sticking out from the back of the base. So if you want to put him backed up against terrain, you're going to have a job on.
All right.
So
the bases are nice. When you actually, if you can show the bases off, they are quite nice, and you get those with the pre-order. They're selling them separately later on, I believe, but without these nice bases. How they're going to do the actual legs, because some of this actually stood on stuff. I'm not too sure how they're going to do that, but the bases are quite nice. It's definitely worth pre-ordering.
They'll be on tactical rocks, but no, the bases are very nice. I put them up again now, so that's Max's base, and then that one's the Cascudas. So yeah, there's going to be lots of stuff to paint on those bases as well as the model themselves. So they're the 4 models, which we managed to get through before the close-up cam decided to no longer send a signal, which is good. Shall we move on to the profiles and information?
Throw us quick, see who's with us first.
We can do that. I'll leave that in your capable hands, sir.
There's not very many people so far. We've got Mr. Endo P. Hello, Mr. Pando P from Teesside. We've got Ralph. Hi, Ralph. How you doing? Nice to have you with us. Keith Shuttler. Morning. Jerry Dewart. Hey ho. Good evening, guys. First stream with you guys. Wish you all the best. Thanks for dropping us a line and thanks for joining in. Rolf, I like this classic supervision pose of the Extra XO. It is a very to be honest, it's a very HVT pose, I think. Don't you think?
It is a very HVT pose. I mean, he's definitely supervillain, though. He is holding a human skull.
We've got Arrow. Did the scenic base have a spot for a magnet underneath?
No,
they didn't.
No, it doesn't.
Infinity blazoned underneath there. But I'm sure you can. It was quite thick, so you'd be able to drill it out easily and put your magnets in. Keith Shuttler, Cascuda go boom, big bada boom. Yeah. I read the background, and apparently they don't land; they crash into the earth.
Also, kudos for the Fifth Element reference.
Yeah, so they go. So that's why they get the explosive landing. I've got Arrow. So it's move. So
no,
it's
it
must
not,
be more of a topper.
It's not a topper. It is actually the whole base is
it's the whole bed. Yeah.
I expect when we get the general release versions, it'll just be a tactical rock on the bottom of the feet.
Ralph saying, doing well, thanks. Just having my usual half hour on a Monday evening. That's a shame. And that's all we've got. So if you're watching, drop us a comments. Let us know who you are. Any comments like that, any questions, give us a shout. Click that like button. That always helps the algorithm monster and all that kind of stuff. So drop us a like and all that kind of stuff. So we have
Does the algorithm monster crash into the earth as well?
Yeah, it would be good.
The algorithm monster does horrible things. We don't like the algorithm monster. Anyway, Pano is first up on our list. We're basically going to go through them in the order that they'd be on Army, to make life easier for us. So the first slide first slide I've got up here is what we're going to get available as reinforcements. In those 100 points and 2 SWC that you get, this is what you're allowed to take. So the new stuff that we haven't seen before were blockers, blade ops, a Mark II Squallow. I think they were the only 3 new things on here.
Yeah, I recognise all the other stuff.
Yeah. But a few interesting new fire team options in here. Be nice to see new bolts as well. I know people have been crying out for new bolt sculpts for a while. So that's what's available. And then we got some nice dossier art for the blade ops, which looks very Pano to me.
It does. It's got a very Ned Flanders bum on it, hasn't it?
I can't say I've ever spent that much attention looking in Ned Flanders bum, but I'll take your word for it. There is a sentence I did not think would come up this evening. I can safely say that. And we got some art for the blade ops moving swiftly on.
That looks good.
It does. It does. A lot of the artwork looks for the new stuff looks really cool. He looks very menacing in that pose.
He does, even though he's Pano and can't shoot his gun.
Well, you say he can't shoot his gun, but I've got his profile up here. He's got a ballistic skill 13 with that boarding shotgun.
Yeah, but which end does he use?
So I think these are quite interesting little profiles.
The mimetism -3 is nice for Pano and stealth. That'd be really nice.
The mimetism is going to be really handy being halfway up the board potentially, and then a boarding shotgun that's also got shock on it could be really fun, and a tactical awareness engineer profile with a submachine gun as well. I quite like those. I think they're going to have
that is the tactical awareness one's particularly nice, isn't it? I think
for three more points. Yeah.
For an extra order, yes, please.
Well, it might be 3 more points because these numbers are subject to change.
Oh yeah.
Then we got a dossier for the blocker, which is. I mean, he looks like he's got a chunkier wrist than the Cascuda with those armoured gauntlets on.
It does. And it's nice that he can keep himself cold and he's got his khakis on. And his wellies. I'm not a fan of that art. I don't know. It just don't work for me.
What about the profile? Are you a fan of the profile?
The X-Rise is always handy. Hacker for 21 points is not bad, is it? You want a specialist towards the end of the game.
He's also whip 13, which is pretty good for Pano. The profile.
Sensor. It's got sensor. So, do you know if you've got sensor and you land in a minefield like we're expecting it, you try and do sensor, they all go off.
At least you know what they are.
Yeah.
The profile to me looks more like it belongs in 012 with all the non-lethal stuff in it.
Yeah.
88 adhesive launchers, paralysis close combat weapons, and the fact that his logo's a star. He feels more 012-y to me than Pano.
He wants to take him in for questioning.
Go and check his Ned Flanders bum.
I don't think we have a shot of that angle.
No, all right, okay.
We do have.
Is one of the three. Just a minute. One of the three missions in the book, isn't one of them you don't kill stuff? It's kind of you kind of go and unkill people. You know, is it? Or am I gone completely crazy there?
I can't remember. I scanned the missions. I haven't had a chance to sit and properly read them, unfortunately.
All right. I just wondered whether that was where that was leading. Whether it was due to one of those new missions in there that you needed some 88 shells. And,
bear that in mind. And if we spot that on other profiles as we're going through, then maybe you're right. We do have a dossier for the Squallow Mark II, which just looks like a bit of a skinnier version of the Squallow to me, without some of the bells and whistles. And then some art. The artwork's lovely. The artwork looks like it comes straight out of a manga.
Mm.
And then
I do like that.
Is this the one where we have two profiles? No, this is the reinforcement profile for it. We might have another one on the normal profile or the non-reinforcement profile.
Is it not Spitfire or marksman rifle or something?
AP Spitfire or multi-marksman rifle.
Yeah.
Standard tag stuff, so extra damage, ECM guided, lower dodge, immune to shock, tactical awareness. It's very standard taggy for me.
Yeah. It's nothing
overly
exciting.
Yeah, it's the tag you can drop for Pano, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've all got a tag, and this is theirs.
It's the shorter range tag. And then we got the details of what's coming in the box, which is going to come in hopefully in October, November this year. So two bolts, a blocker, 2 blade ups, and a new sculpt for Agnes if you didn't get her with Defiance.
Which I didn't.
Which not everybody did. This is fair enough. So yeah, October, November this year, which I think is good.
That's a nice box, isn't it? I think.
And then the last slide we got as a little bonus is we've got a dossier of the bolts as well. The new dossier for the bolts, which I'm sure someone will tell me exactly what's different on it. To me, it looked pretty similar.
He's got a Ned Flanders butt as well.
It's obviously a Pano thing.
Ned Flanders is Ned Pano. He probably is.
So
I thought the backpack and the horns were slightly different, but not massively.
Okay.
So we have a quick look. So we have a look at the comments people have been posting since we.
Probably a good idea.
So we don't go too far ahead. Okay. So Richard Rusforth, surprised they didn't go for the new online instead of the alternative Squallow.
I can see the logic there. They need to re-release both the Ulan and the Tikbalang because you can't get hold of them anymore. So, yeah.
Robert Shepherd's already had 2 battle reports with reinforcement rules on his YouTube channel. Fun to watch and very interesting. Looking forward to yours as well. I wonder how he got hold of the rules. Nobody else has.
I've watched one of them. He doesn't know what the rules are. He's just done a best guess.
We can all do best guess.
So
we're going to wait for the rules. As soon as the rules come out, we will be having a battle report, and we'll get it on their channel as soon as possible. Just so people can correct us and we can get it right next time. Arrow says
it's supposed to be the 3rd, isn't it? So we'll do it all then.
The 3rd is when the army gets updated.
Right.
When the rules gets released, we'll find out.
I believe the PDF is supposed to be the same day. So the reinforcements PDF and the army update has been announced or has been rumoured to be the 3rd of August.
So it's next week.
So yeah, but that again could be subject to change.
Yeah, so it is. It's kind of next week, so it's not long away, and we'll try and get that battle report out as soon as we can with the proper rules. Are the Blade Ops Australian in law? That logo looks like a boomerang. Says Arrow.
I'll check.
Have you got the book? Yeah, you have. 2 burst ADL or nano pulsar isn't terrible. You're right, it isn't terrible for Macintosh man. Sensor and ADL burst 1 is a thing, says Brian Leo. Arrow, the word ogre is looking for is healing. The word ogre is looking for is healing.
Yes, thank you.
Uh,
When you apply an ADHD to somebody, or ADHD or somebody, not ADHD, that's something entirely different.
Brian Leo says getting a grenade launcher in the middle of the board is a thing. Yeah, it is. That would be good, especially if you can get, especially if there's plenty of cover in the center of your board where you're landing. You can just hide and just pop grenades everywhere. Stephen Cooper, evening, gents. Nearly missed out. Hello, Jam. Thank you for joining us.
And yes, the blades are Australian.
Arrow, you are right. You can do I told you so dance now.
So, what are your thoughts, though, guys, on the Pano stuff? Because I know, Claw, you obviously you'll get these reinforcements for your military orders.
Yep.
Ogre, you have a Pano force as well. Is there anything in there you're looking forward to using?
I don't know. The bolts are good, aren't they? To be honest, I think I don't know. The rest of it, I'm not so sure. I'm kind of looking to stuff maybe that's going to fit into a normal army as well as the reinforcement army. So I don't know really. No, the Pano stuff didn't inspire me like some of the others did. Some of the others made me go, "Oh, that's interesting."
Oh, you're going to get excited later. Okay.
I am going to get excited later, and I think we all know what about. It involves big furry werewolves.
How about you, Claw?
No,
I kind of like the Skralos Mark II. That's quite nice. I think that. I wonder if you've got enough points left for Shona. That'd be cool. Because Shona halfway up the board, charging at you with a big sword would be cool. But again, it depends on what kind of battlefield you land on. The Pano one, it's very okay. We'll have to see what comes and what happens, to be honest. But I think it's okay. The Bulleteer Armbots, they're the new ones that have just been released. They do look good. So Ruler cool, get some of them in. The Orc troops, I kind of like Orc troops. They're a nice little kind of heavy troop to stick in with a couple of wounds. So if you're struggling in the center, you can stick them in and at least they'll survive for a little bit longer. But yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Should we move on to Yu Jing?
Yay!
The dieback force, or as you've been calling them, Claw.
Oh my god! Wow!
So there's a strong Korean vibe for the reinforcements for Yu Jing, as was said several times. A few new units that we're getting for these guys, all of which I will probably murder the pronunciation of, so I apologise in advance.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're leaving that for you.
You're going to let me do it, aren't you?
Yeah.
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 Hwang Corps, Haitai Unit, Sulsa Warriors, and Dokkebai Cyber Team are the new ones, I think. Did I miss any new units? Oh, yeah, sorry. The Naval Operations Group, the Sulyong. There was another one. I knew there was another one somewhere. Again, a couple of fire team options. Everything else we've had before, I believe, has been kicking around for a while.
Yeah.
So you get a Jujak fire team, a Harang fire team, and then a bunch of wildcards, which we've come to expect. I think you're going to struggle to get some fire teams in 100 points in 2 SWC.
That's what I don't understand at the moment. Yeah.
Certainly for some of these, even putting in cheap substitutions, I think getting a core fire team is going to require some effort. But we have a dossier for the Sulyong, which I think looks all right. It looks pretty standard Yu Jingi to me from the dossier.
It's certainly got that silhouette to it with a bit of a skirt and oriental shoulder pad type. Instead of going over the top, it's around the side, which is quite nice. I quite like that.
And then its profile. I thought you'd like the fact that they all have NCO, Claw.
I like NCO.
You do like a bit of NCO. When you put a couple of these in, then if you've lost your Moangs before at this point, you've still got use for those 2 orders from your LT, haven't you?
It's like I bring it every time. But why wouldn't you?
But no, they've all got MSV1. They've got terrain total and NCO. So I think they're, again, pushed up the board. They're not a bad little unit. An extra burst on a boarding shotgun is also quite nice. I did spot that on the Forward Observer profile.
Yeah. It's 24 points, so it's not unreasonable at 24 points, I don't think.
No, they didn't blow my mind. I didn't think they were spectacular. I thought they were quite nice.
They're getting there though, aren't they? With NCO and MSV1.
Yeah, they're
And
definitely
total
useful.
terrain.
Yeah, they're definitely useful. Definitely. Next up, we had the dossier for the cyber team. I'm not even going to try the first word again because I'm pretty sure I butchered it last time. The head's interesting on this.
You go for the word interesting. I go for the word horrible. It looks a bit.
It reminded me of one of those football rattles, you know.
Yeah, all those spin around.
The whole thing to go around. Yeah,
perhaps it does that.
It does.
But it's a remote. It doesn't have to have a humanoid type head.
Yeah, but
it also depends how they translate that artwork onto the model.
It does. I think if you'd have put that long thing like halfway along, not the end, maybe that would. No, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
You need one of those horns, Claw, on the top, like the.
Yeah. Whoever's in the head department, they want sacking, I think.
Now, I wasn't sure if this dossier we have for the Zuzaks is new or a repeat of the original one. I couldn't remember. I mean, I like it either way. But
They look like the ones I've got on my desk. They really do.
And then some more artwork for the Zuzaks, which is a nice piece of art. Some artwork for the Harang Corp. I did like these. I did like the headgear on these. I thought was very cool.
No, I do like them.
And then the artwork to go with it. Heavy infantry makes shotguns look so tiny.
It's the size of the hand. Right.
And then we're into the profiles. So the Harang profile.
Armor 3, 2 runes.
Yeah, so the initial profile, the profile that went up. Yeah, I tried to make sure I got the updated versions. The profile that went up on the video, they did say was incorrect. The stat line hadn't been updated. This is what it should have looked like if you haven't seen it. So standard heavy infantry, 6-2 move, decent close combat at 22, ballistic skill 12, physique 13, willpower 13, armor and BTS 3, 2 wounds, silhouette 2, and you can have 2 of them. Frenzy, martial arts level 3, courage, extra dodge, immunity to shock, and stealth.
Yeah, halfway up your board. Halfway up the board. That's going to be ace. And at 22 points for the cheapest, it's for nothing, isn't it?
They're good, and they've all got explosive close combat weapons as well. So that martial arts is going to really hurt.
Yeah, you don't want to get close to these guys, and landing them close to a lot of enemy, that would be ace. I
also noticed the combi rifle that they have gets +2 damage. That's a damage 15 combi rifle that can potentially be in a fire team.
For 28 points.
Yeah. It might not hurt things that have got a lot of armor, but it's going to make a mess of little people. The Salsa Warrior dossier with the cool hat again.
They had those in the Japanese army, didn't they?
They had similar style headgear on some of the tankers.
I think that looks better.
Shikami, I think, had them as well.
Yeah, I think if you can see the face underneath, I think that's why I like that one better.
Fair enough. I think we have then the profile for the Salsa Warriors.
Mimetism -6.
Yeah.
Dodge +3. Dodging on a 16.
Kind of a bit like a Teutonic Knight.
That's probably why I like it.
No.
But with mimetism -6.
And a couple of specialist options in there as well, which is handy in the middle of the board.
I will be bringing these.
I thought you might.
When I first saw it, my first comment was, "Can I have a side of salsa, please?" I liked it.
And then,
why are these models more expensive than the last ones, though? Is it because the other ones can be hacked and these can't?
Yeah, and
going to be
you've
in
got
that
minus
backing range.
6. Yeah, I think these are better because you've got your minus 6 mimetism.
Right.
I think you're paying for the mimetism.
You do generally pay a lot for that mimetism, don't you?
There's certainly definitely a market when you go from 3 to 6. Unless you're a Myrmidon.
But they're not. They are roughly the same price as the other guys. The cheapest.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. So they are roughly the same price.
But
they've got one less wound, haven't they? And
but if you're landing them together, you position them that the beefy guys go up front, and this one sneaks around the back and chops the head off from the back. The other one's charge forward and chop the head off from the front.
I'll try and remember that when I face them.
Yeah, you will.
And then this reinforcement box is also going to apparently be coming out around October, November. You're going to get 2 Harangs, a Sulsa, 2 Sulyongs, and one of the Cyber Team hackers, the Dokebai. And then the Heitai unit is going to come as a blister.
Yep, that's basically what I'm going to be putting in my reinforcements group.
Bunch of Jujaks on that.
Yeah.
So, Claw, you are our Yu Jing player.
I have more Yu Jing than you two.
You do. You have a stronger affinity to them than to either of us.
Yeah.
So what do we think?
Do you know what? I kind of like this. I like the fact that I've got most of the models for this, and I've also got the new Ujaks that are on my desk now, being painted up for that first match. I like it. I like the Salsa Warriors. I think they're great. I like the Harangs. They're great. 2 really nice units, especially when you're landing them halfway up the board. You're going to be charging both in because you're not going to get a load of Huangs or a load of Salsas. You're going to have a mixture of the 2. Well, I certainly am. Depending on what you're fighting, you can position them to take on that full front or go around the back with sneakiness. I think they're going to be great. I really do. I'm really, really excited about these. It's like I'm excited for Yu Jing because they are the superpower. Anyway, that's my...
Fair enough. I have no strong opinions at this point in time. I'm waiting to
face them,
and then I'll hate them all. What do people think in the comments?
Okay, what's Ogre's opinion of these? What's he seen? Has he seen anything?
I don't know. I quite like the Jujak fighting thing. I think they've been trying to get that in there for a while. I kind of like the Jujak models, to be honest. And the rest of, I don't know, the aesthetic appeals to me for these new guys. The Korean aesthetic. I don't do Yu Jing though. I'm afraid it just don't appeal to me whatsoever. So no, I'll be more into killing them than buying them and playing them. I'm afraid.
Trying to kill them.
That's fair.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I've got to say, I was just looking at those and the -6 ones and just thinking, well, I need to make sure I've got a flamethrower in there somewhere, basically. So I don't care about the -6. Because they all burn the same, don't they? Let's face it.
Okay, let's have a zip back to the comments, see what we're doing. Okay, Arrow says, back to the Pano stuff. Is that the first official Aussie unit? I know a few years ago there were complaints about Pano were Australian, but there were no Australian units.
Crocman, isn't he Australian? Or is he... Are they based on New Zealand?
Keith Shutter says they have the Crocman. So yeah,
I'm sure the Crocman might have been Maori more than originally. I can't remember.
Rolf says, I've never played Pano myself, so I don't really have a feeling of these. But dropping the Squalo with AP Spitfire along with the Attack-Aware Engineer in turn 2 sounds interesting. Dropping any of the tags, I think, is going to be interesting. Until we actually know what it feels like, I think that's going to be an unknown at the moment. Brian Liao, weren't the Bolts Australian? I thought they were. Oops. I don't think the Bolts were Australian.
I thought Usain Bolt was Jamaican, wasn't he?
Oh,
sorry.
This is why we don't let. This is why we don't let you out often, Ogre.
Crocmen were Polynesian, says Keith. So we're close. Well, Keith knows what he's talking about, at least.
I need to get a map out, I think. I don't know.
Jam says, tech-aware Blade Ops engineer is pretty good, I reckon. Yes. Brian Liao says, start playing 250 points, 10-12 orders. List constructions is limiting. On a 250 points, definitely is. We played 150 points at the weekend, and you got hardly any orders. That is weird. That's a weird size game. If you get a chance to play a 150, play a 150. It's a totally different style game. Anyway, I digress. Steve Cooper, the Yujing reinforcements are a reason in themselves to start a Yujing army. Yes, they are. Go for it. I think for most armies, if you're struggling to have much more than a Harris and maybe another 1 or 2 ancillary models due to the 100 points and 250 and 2 SWC cap. We've been saying this between us that the 100 points is going to be really restrictive when it comes to putting a fire team out.
It's not going to go far.
No, you might have a Harris. You might squeeze in 4 men, but having 5 man is just not going to happen, I don't think.
I'm also not sure you're going to want a 5 man, to be honest. Not
because you're going to want to squeeze one of those in, and then all you're going to do is one of them's going to get popped off, and it's down to 4 anyway. So I think Harry's Harry's and the character maybe. Harris says, I don't plan to use a core on reinforcements now. An aggressive Harris in midfield. That's I'm about. 5-man core midfield is going to be awkward to maneuver. Yeah, it's going to be. The 5-man's going to be a pain to move without being shot to pieces.
You got to get him within that drop zone as well, haven't you?
You
know what I mean? How many guys can you get in that small area? That's going to restrict you.
Keith says, remember the reinforcements list are specific to short and medium interactions, so the point cost is lower as they are specific. Steve Cooper says, actually, I really like the Yujing bot. I look forward to seeing the render. It's going to be all right, I think. It's going to be pretty good. MSV1 Red Fury seems to fill a missing role. Yeah. It's a bit of smoke. MSV1 Red Fury in the middle. Lovely. Aris is basically a Tanko. Bearpod says, yes, deploy a snack near me. 8 bears. Ralph says, and off I have to go. We'll listen later. Have a good time. Thanks for joining us anyway, Ralph. I appreciate you being here. Brian says, courage and suppression, SMG and combi rifles, 15 damage would be a decent defense. 15 damage on a combi rifle. That's amazing.
That is good,
mate. Keith says salsa has a Korean style hats that the ones that have been seen before in the Japanese style are the Japanese style. Yeah, I do like the look of that one. I've got to admit. Arrow says minimum 6 and not frenzy.
Oh, that would explain the points difference. The other ones had frenzy.
Yeah. Oh, I've just shot to the bottom. Brian says, I wish Salsa had Red Fury or even a Mark 12. No, I think that's a bit too much. Peter, there's a wrong profile on the screen. Probably.
We grabbed the ones that we grabbed all the pictures we could. I updated the ones that we knew got updated from Coney. There may be others that have changed that I haven't seen.
Yeah. Keith, the guy who knows what he's talking about, immediately says profiles are subject to update. Cheers, Keith. Pete says, I already saw the right profile on the O12 Discord. Mr. NOP, all the using reinforcements seem to fill a hole left by GSA. Yeah. Peter says, I really hope on an own reinforcements for GSA. They won't. They've got their non-aligned armies one. So
yeah, we'll get to that one later.
Yeah, we've got thoughts about that. Brian, I wonder if Bixie's going to be played normally or reinforcements. I think I'm going to put mine in with the reinforcements to get further up the further up the board to do that close combat.
I think this is going to be one of the interesting decisions you have to make with troops that are available either as reinforcements or in your normal lists is where are they
Yeah.
going to be stronger? Is it, for example, if something has camouflage and infiltration, normally, is it going to be worth taking it earlier on in the game and getting it up the board, or is it going to be worth keeping it in a reinforcement where it's not going to get the camouflage and infiltration for the few points you're going to save? I think it's going to force some interesting decisions, certainly.
Arrow says, as Ariadna 10 to 12 for 250 points is easy. Yes, it is. Then Peter's gone, Brian, Bixie's already part of the White Banner. She is. Brian says, wonder how people are going to play her, as we've just said. Peter says, it depends. Great answer. Always the right answer. Mikey R says, evening, everyone. Evening, Mikey. Glad to have you along. Arrow says, oh, this is Jing's first picture profile. Ooh. Did I miss the picture?
There might have been a picture. I missed it too.
Oh, I get a picture. Ah.
That would involve you spending an order on something other than murdering me, though.
Yeah, hackers. But anyway, I don't think I've had pictures. I can't remember. I haven't been able to have pictures. Vidal Pagan, hi from Florida, watching on my lunch break. You guys rock. You rock too, Vidal. Thank you for joining us. And Nicola, greetings from Serbia. Hello, Nicola.
Right then, shall we move on to Ariadna?
Oh yeah.
See, you and I are going to have stronger opinions on this one.
It's full of fairies and total immunity. Yeah.
So as we know, the Ariadna profiles are all going to be all the Ariadna reinforcements are basically going to be mostly French.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah. So we're getting moblot reinforcements profiles. Look kind of similar to what we've had before from moblots, and yeah, I like them.
I think they're almost identical.
Pretty much.
Other than the skills. I think the actual stats are the same.
Stats are the
Attack
same.
awareness.
Attack awareness, I think,
awareness
is new.
is nice.
On some of these. I'm not sure about the HMG profile in a reinforcement, I'll be honest, given where you're going to be deploying it. But
yeah. Which one was it where the HMG was lying down on his back in the hole? Was that the moblot or was that a different thing?
It was either the moblot or the Zerv, and I can't remember. It's been a long time since I looked at the models. But no, I like the moblots. It'd be nice to see new sculpts for them finally. I appear to have these a little out of sequence. So this is these are the options we're going to get access to in Ariadna. Most of these we've seen before in the Merovingian Rapid Response Force. The only new unit I think I spotted on here were the Apaches. I don't think there was anything else. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think it's just the Apaches, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the only new ones. Everything else we've seen before. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Chasseurs are brilliant. Moblots are good. Briscards are good. Loup-garou, I think are fantastic. So I look forward to seeing new sculpts for a lot of them.
I think for a lot of people, this will be brand new, all of it. Well,
yeah.
It's like...
Because the French haven't been around for a while.
A few years. So... this is just all good stuff to me.
So yeah, the Loup-garou profile hasn't changed massively. Sorry, Ogar, I cut you off.
It's fine. I was just going to point everybody to the bottom of the page where it says Equip Mirage 5. And leave it there.
If we don't tell them, they'll forget that Margot and Jirok might turn up. Never remind you.
Sorry.
Anyway, the Loup-garou profiles, I don't think they've changed particularly for reinforcements.
No.
They still get the X-Visor, they still have viral left, right and centre, and I still think they are a pretty nice profile for the points.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You've got Mirage 5, Margot and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they don't come in any of the groups or anything like that. Why would you bring them in reinforcements? Why don't you just put them in your first half and just bring them in the deployment zone anyway? Why is it even here?
So we're theorising that they're going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Why? That's wrong.
Because you may only have them for a turn.
No,
I think a lot I thought of the points and the SWC because they're currently 66 points and 2 SWC on their own. But a lot of that is for dropping down behind anywhere you want, basically, isn't it? All along the back line, you've got parachutist deployment zone.
So you think their reinforcement profile is going to be cheaper because you're not dropping them behind?
Absolutely. I'm expecting somewhere in the kind of 40, 45 points.
Oh, that's to see.
To be honest,
I think that might be a bit lower than I'm expecting. 50s, I'm thinking.
I don't know, because otherwise, I'm thinking, well, why bother taking them in your reinforcements when you can, because your reinforcements come in and then they come in somewhere else.
Also, Margot and Drock aren't available if you're not playing Vanilla or Cosmoflot. Are they available?
Yeah, that's right.
Or French. So US Ariadna can now bring them. That's another reason. So, I can bring on Van Zant behind you and then drop the werewolf in front of you.
I'll certainly have to keep a sniper well in my deployment zone, or HMG well in... maybe 2 HMG well in my... Maybe 3 HMG deep in my car.
Okay, so the new profile, the Apaches. Now, I think this one... Oh, that's not... Is that the wrong... That's the wrong stat line. I don't have a slide with the new stat line, apparently.
It's allegedly CC 22, 23, isn't it?
They're going to be more of a warband stat line, as I recall from the corrected one I saw somewhere. But the skills, the skills are right. The skills are definitely right. But it's there's +1 burst on all of those AP close combat weapons in the middle of the board, and you can get berserk on at least one of the profiles. There's 3 of the profiles with berserk, isn't there? Yeah, down the bottom. For an extra point or 2 here or there, that's definitely worth it.
For less than 20 points, it's a bargain. Of course, you're going to take them.
No, they're going to be lethal.
Absolutely.
Again, maybe 3 or 4 HMGs deep in my side to shoot them before they get into range. That's.
I also actually think, and I don't know if anyone's mentioned this, but that the profile with the +1 burst on ballistic skill attack with chain rifle and grenades, +1 burst grenades with the physique that these things have, because 11's wrong, I think they were 13, isn't bad. You could throw a couple of grenades and get face-to-face rolls at decent target numbers rather than using the chain rifle and just eating the return fire. So I think that's quite something not to be overlooked. And then the box set that we're going to get is going to contain a couple of Lugaroo. Sadly, only 1 Apache. That's because probably they put
2 boxes.
A couple of Briscards and a Moblot. And then the Jacques Brant is coming as a blister. So, Ogre, I'll let you go first. What do you think of these guys?
It's going to be brilliant. I'm going to get it immediately it comes out. I'm already looking at the stuff. This is like Claw surprised us by all these Jujaks arriving before we'd even known. But this is the one I'm looking at, thinking, right, what can I get and paint up now, ready for this to get there. So obviously, I've already got Margot and Duroc, but there's loads of other stuff, all the chasseurs and everything. It's kind of this is the one that got me excited, and the Apaches just sound awesome, don't they?
Oh, the Apaches look phenomenal.
Absolutely. I'm kind of looking forward to the Gen Con presentation because I'm kind of hoping we'll get some pictures of those.
Yeah, hopefully, Gen Con.
Hopefully, some kind of release info.
Yeah, we'll see renders of a bunch more stuff. They're going to be holding some stuff back for that seminar. I would be very surprised. But no, I'm very excited for the Ariadna stuff. I have been working out what I need to move up my painting list for our first game of reinforcements. I need more French people to come and... I keep picturing, for some reason, because I'll be probably playing them with my US Ariadna, I keep picturing them as Canadians coming to rescue the Americans, which has been tickling me no end.
Brilliant. Very accurate, probably.
Claw, what are your thoughts on these guys other than, well, please don't let them hit me?
Meh.
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 This is the opposite, isn't it, of us looking at those Jing, isn't it? This is like he's sat there planning how he's going to kill these reinforcements when they come in the same way we were planning on how we were going to deal with it.
I'm sat here painting, mate. That's
Nice to know you're paying attention. What about the viewers? Have they got any interesting thoughts on Ariadna? Have you been keeping up?
Okay, so Kroby, hi mate. I'm glad to have you along. I think there will not be any infiltration camo profiles for reinforcements. I don't think so. They wouldn't.
It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense at all with the way the rules have been described.
James, the Duckerby has pictures. I'm looking forward to those. I might have to get some of those. Mad Max, hello, welcome along. I'm so disappointed by Toa being discontinued. They've not been discontinued. They are what got me into Infinity. Now they are BU. Only going to cause more grief when I put them on the tabletop. Toa has not been discontinued. They are the pain in the bum for Corvus Belli. They might get split up and put into the non-aligned armies, but I think that's the worst that's going to happen. I think. What do you think, Storm?
Toa haven't been discontinued. They're still perfectly viable. There are reasons why Corvus Belli aren't necessarily giving them the love and attention that if you're a Toa player, you want them to give them. But I think they're still perfectly valid as a faction to play. The models are going to be harder to get hold of. That's the only downside. But yeah, they're not going anywhere. I don't think.
Brian Leo says Apache, which I think most people are excited for the Apaches. I think, apart from me, which is fair. Nicholas says that picture is going to be huge for Jing. Yeah, I think it is. Arrow says, I still hope that in future the US Air Force reinforcements include UKR. The UKR? What's that?
Unknown Ranger.
No. 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 That's wrong. Arrow? No. Richard Rushforth, Ariadna seems to have won the reinforcements. I don't know about that. Not from my point of view, but maybe from other two. They might think they've won.
I think the Apache is definitely an interesting profile and looks like it could be quite strong and quite useful. But I think lots of factions got things that are going to make them a new challenge to play against. But we all have our personal favourites, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the Apaches and making Claw suffer them.
Oh, gee, thanks. Luke, hi Luke, nice to have you along. Mulbart is missing shot. They should give them a second wound. No, they shouldn't. They need to die easier. Arrow says probably the Zove. I'm not too sure what that means.
It was the Zouave. Was it the Zouave model that was reclining with the HMG? Could have been.
Oh yeah.
Brian says Mulbart's giving EM mines is to all Ariadna. Steve Cooper, remember you're not forced to deploy in the midfield for your
that's a very good point, Steve. That's a very good point. That's something I'd kind of glossed over in my brain.
Arrow says just Apaches. That's fair enough. Available 2 Beast Hunters, says Brian.
We still need models for Beast Hunters as well.
Cheap War Driver to go gunk up in the middle. It's a cheap specialist hacker, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Sniper is new for Lugar. Ara says if they get a discount of parachutist in the deployment zone. Oh, that's the Margot equip.
Margot, yeah. Surely they will.
Yeah, deploy the wolf to the middle and go.
Yeah.
Kroby says
that's my entire plan.
There you go. Go.
Exactly.
Kroby says can be any Ariadna army and it would be deployed near a drop pod. Keith says troop that has parachutists don't have reinforcements.
Yeah.
McMurder and Durrock together. Stop it. Stop it, Paul. Stop it.
And the bear. How about that? And the bear.
Margot says BS14 is still Apache's, but he's still Ariadna's best gunfighter.
She is best BS in the whole faction.
She does more work than the wolf.
As agreed by a couple of guys. Okay, let's skip it forward a bit. We've got quite a few, and we've got quite a lot to get through tonight. Okay, let's go right to the last one. Sorry if I missed any thing important. Nicholas says reinforcements may change the style of the game. Marking the first part of the game focused on a long-range play, while the second part of the game will be focused on close combat fun, with so many close combat range profiles coming. Yeah. First, round 1, shooting. Round 2 or 3, fighting. Essentially.
Yeah. This is it.
I think you're probably right there.
Like werewolf. What could possibly be wrong with that?
Okay, so let's go to the next one.
I'm wondering whether it will become, just going on from that, is it going to become try and capture where the reinforcements might come down? Is that what for turn 1, capture the area? What I mean? I think that might be the thing.
I actually think things like all your board control stuff, your minefield, your repeaters, your crazy calls, all those sort of things are going to become really important. You need to get those down.
Yeah.
Especially, certainly if you're going second and your opponent's reinforcements might turn up first, because you'll be able to put them down before the reinforcements turn up, but without your opponent being able to remove them before the reinforcements turn up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be a big thing. Should we move on to Haqqislam? That's next. We've got a few slides for Hack. Do I have one? Oh, I've got these out. These are completely out of order, apparently. Oh, no. Yes, they are completely backwards. That was professional of me. So the Melek Reaction Force has a few profiles that are new. We've got Corsairs of the Gate, Burtuk. They're both new. Hafsas are back. Did they actually go away, Hafsas? This is where my long tenure in the game trips me up. Because I remember Hafsas, but I don't know if they actually went away.
They did go away.
So they are returning. Yeah. So they're semi new. So again, some interesting fire teams. I think the Sec Band being here makes a lot of sense. It's a good place for them to fit in with Haqqislam.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see the Al Hawar as well without camouflage, because I like an Al Hawar in my vanilla Haqqislam with his camouflage in the middle of the board. So I'm going to be interested to see how the profiles change for them without.
I was quite surprised there's no Yara, her dad, in this, because she's pretty much in every other army. Well,
maybe that's why she's in every other army. You don't need her in this as well.
She hasn't got time to reinforce anybody. She's too busy.
So the Obelisk's reinforcement profile. Sorry, Ogre.
I was just going to say, have you gone through the new stuff from this list yet?
The Corsair and the Burtuk.
Yeah, and the Hakims, I think, as well.
No, the Hakims aren't new. They've been out for a while. They're the drop trooping doctors. They? Yeah.
Oh, is that them? Oh,
that's them.
The
medical assistance team. So profile-wise, we saw the Odalisks, which are a good profile. They've been around for a while. They're 360 visors, 6th sense. Really good at negating close combat, that -9 to your opponent. They're pseudo 2-wound infantry with no wounding cap and immunity shock. But then I've never found them to be very durable.
They're not cheap either.
And they're not cheap. Even here, I don't think they're particularly cheap, especially the Spitfire profile. Still feels quite...
I think I heard somebody say on a competitive podcast that the 6th sense and the 360 visor haven't been on the same profile before. or so on the normal one they're on separate profiles.
You
And on
normally
this
get
one
one or the
they're
other.
on.
Yeah, I think on standard
Yeah,
list
one or
there's
the other.
one or the other. Yeah.
But
So,
this has got both as skills.
so maybe
So
maybe all old lists
I
getting
think these are
updates.
nice, to be honest.
I like their laws good, the bodyguards and stuff that they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I quite like them. I'm not quite sure they're priced at a point where they're going to get taken hugely often, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
The Bertuk profile, which is one of the new units, a bunch of engineers who are immune to fire.
They have flameproof clothing.
They definitely do. So again, shock immune and no wound incap, so pseudo 2-wound infantry. Sadly, they don't have bioimmunity though with that 6 points of ETS. That
That would have been nice, wouldn't it?
It would probably make them look quite a bit more expensive though.
And again, they're not cheap.
They're not cheap, but you do get a lot of cheap
They're
profiles.
hackable as well.
In Haqqislam, they are heavy infantry, so they are hackable.
And it is a Whip 14 specialist, so that's nice.
You get a lot.
Yeah,
of
that's standard.
You get a lot of those in Haqqislam. That's not new.
Everybody.
Then the Corsan, there's one profile on here that I think jumped out a lot during the week. The one with the chain rifle plus 2 burst. Now he is cheap at 14 points. But again, that's up there with the Apaches as a vicious profile in the middle of the board for different reasons. I don't think it's quite as scary, but that chain rifle is ouchie.
Yeah. It is. It's a possible easy dodge, isn't it? Whereas the Apache's like, you ain't going to dodge this.
Yeah. There's ways to get out of that one easier, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have the reinforcement box set, which we don't have a date for. She's going to include a couple of Sakban, a Hafsa. I kind of hope he's crouching on the floor like the classic sculpt was. A Burkut, a Corsan, and a new Al-Hawar sculpt. That's been ages since we saw an Al-Hawar sculpt as well.
Reinforcements blister?
Of some type.
3 dots.
As yet unconfirmed. It's obviously going to be really hidden and we're not going to know what it is.
It's going to be Maggie.
Yeah, maybe it's around 6, isn't it? Definitely.
It's going to be Maggie, and they're gonna add it to reinforcement.
And then we got a really cool bit of artwork as well, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, you only say that because it's you Jing dying.
I just thought it's nice to see these bits of artwork that set the scene because they're really cool.
They are.
Yushin can't live all the time.
They can when he makes the save.
I think this box is nice though. I've always liked the Sekban models of old.
Oh, we've lost Ogre.
But
I think.
Again, hopefully, in a week or two's time, we'll get some artwork from what the models are actually going to be like. But I think I'm quite looking forward to these guys.
You broke up in the middle of it there, Ogre, but yeah, I think the Sekban coming back are going to be nice. There's a few older profiles in there that are going to get new sculpts, which I think is a good thing. Any strong opinions from yourself, Claw, on these guys? Because you're not a Haqqislam player, really.
All I've got is a few models of Haqqislam. I'd love more. I really would. Some of these profiles look really cool. Yeah, and some of the models are cool. So I think I'd like
some great comments.
Yeah, a proper Haqqislam.
Is that for the next Tale of 4 Pandas?
Maybe it's certainly one of the options for the Tale of 4 Pandas, I think.
That's interesting.
So no, I like these. I think the reinforcement box looks interesting. I'm a bit surprised that the Corsan is the light shotgun variant rather than the chain rifle variant, because surely the chain rifle one is the one that everyone's going to take. But I look forward to seeing the new sculpts for things. There's a lot of things in there.
Okay, so let's have a quick look at comments. Peter says, since I've seen the hack profiles with the chain rifle plus 2 bursts and recognise it is an evil thing, can stay in a fire team, which means it's a burst 4 chain rifle. It feels a bit overwhelmed.
But you
It's
can
fine.
dodge it. You can dodge a chain rifle on a
You
basic
can't
physique roll.
save 4, can you?
Yeah, but one dodge roll and you can dodge
In
all 4
theory.
if they're all overlaid over the top of you.
Yeah, but if you don't, you're dead. Arrow says CC is still risky. 1 dice versus 1 dice, unless you got friends. But yeah, or level 5.
Yeah.
Is it level 5? You
It's
get an
level
extra bird?
5 now, yeah.
Or friends joining in, isn't it?
yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Keith says reinforcements is an extra. You don't have to play it as standard, but we also need to wait and see what missions are going to be in ITS 15. Yes, it is always option, but we are all dying to see what it's going to turn out like. Steve Cooper says the something are still a part of QK.
The Hafsas.
Hafsas.
Yeah.
Were they?
Because we couldn't
Okay.
remember whether we're there or not. Right. There you go.
Kroby Kong says Obliques have been combined. 360 visors and 6 cents.
There you go. You see, somebody agreed with me.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's nice to have a collective intelligence where people can tell you what's right and wrong.
And you would see it, yeah, you see.
Hasfers are still in Hack, never went away. They're also in Vanilla, says Steve. Kroby Kong. Reinforcements. Aldectiques have burst 2 nanopulses, 3 nanopulses? They're different things. Nanopulses, 3 in a link.
I hadn't realised the nanopulsar burst was different for the reinforcement. That's quite good.
Again, you can dodge it. Hack reinforcement program is a must buy for Kroby Kong. Yeah. Richard
This is
Russell.
brilliant. So the blank reinforcement blister is 3 for days.
They're so sneaky. They're not even listed on the army list, but you can have them.
That is amazing. That is like one of my favorites. Oh,
Richard,
dear.
kid over up no end. Keith,
That is
Cortan
amazing.
is great mini to push opponents out of position if they manage to dodge. Yeah. Arrow really curious how the reinforcements will look with exclusion and confused deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Reinforcements in
That's a
biotech
good
vault.
point.
That's going to cause all sorts of issues.
It certainly is.
They haven't announced when we're getting the new ITS season, have they? I wonder if we're getting that on the 3rd of August as well.
It's not going to be long away.
It's normally after the.
It's normally after the
Interplanetarians.
Interplanetary, yeah.
So,
Well, I'm sure they've got a plan. I'm going to assume they've got a plan.
if they haven't, they'll get one quick.
Yeah. Shall we move
Okay.
on?
Yeah,
Nomads.
let's have a look at those chaos and cultists. And
The Vipera Pursuit Force. Coolest name for any reinforcements.
they do.
I won't hear
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
I won't hear any arguments on that. Vipera Pursuit Force is the coolest name for any reinforcements.
It is. They win that one.
And then, so I got these ones in the right order. We get some new units here as well. We get Red Sky Crew Mars Spiders.
That sounds cool. Whatever they are.
They've taken 3 random words and put them together and it just sounds awesome. The Kulak Payback Unit and Casino Security Rounders, I think, are the 3 new units. Everything else on there, I'm pretty sure we've had for a while.
Yeah.
Again, there's a tag option in the Lizard. Spectres, Prowlers, we've had for a while. Bunch of remotes. Yeah, a couple of characters. Few interesting fire team options. The Kulak, Mars Spider. Prowlers without camouflage are going to be interesting again. And so we got a dossier for the Rounders. And I think this looks cool.
Your name's not down. You're not coming in.
Yeah, that mafiosa style Tungusta security look is just really cool.
Yeah, you don't want to be going 1, 2, 3 with your cards in your hand there, counting them. Yes, you'd soon find yourself in a dark alley.
And then the really cool piece of artwork as well for them. And then the profile. Yeah. I think the profile for these is quite interesting for me because it's NCO. And I don't think we've had a lot of NCO in Nomads. I think the Gator gets it. Might be a couple of others, but there's not a lot of NCO kicking around in Nomads. and some of these profiles appeal to me greatly. Marksmanship, biometric visor, multispectral visor with some of these weapon combos is great. And I actually like the hacker in here. 22 points for a hacker with an upgraded Trinity, a submachine gun. It's going to be a fairly it's going to put your opponent in all sorts of pickles, because if you get into a gunfight, you've got a half decent ballistic skill, you're ignoring their cover, armor piercing or shock with that submachine gun, ignoring their mimetism, and if they decide to dodge, you could just hack them. So you can look forward to that, Claw.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, I do like the look of the rounders, and the hacker profile jumped out at me. That could just be my bias.
Probably. Nomad hacker, you love it.
Yeah. Kulak payback unit. Another medium infantry. Good ballistic skill on this, 13. Well, good for Nomads anyway. So I know you Pano players get to 15. We don't. Again, more hacking devices in here. Combi rifle with extra
Chain
burst
of command.
and
is what I'm
chain
gonna
of
say.
command,
Chain
yeah,
of-
which we have definitely not had before in Nomads.
And
So-
the whole, if I bring my chain of command person in on the drop on the say at the start, does it become me lieutenant and I don't become a loss of lieutenant? Or that's a
I
big
think it must be.
Yeah, 'cause it happens
They're
before
gonna
you
have to
check.
reword it. Yeah.
big can of worms.
The wording at the moment is the chain of command has to be on the board, I believe.
At the moment, I think you've hit the nail on the head. At the moment, the wording is that.
And then the Red Sky Crew Mars Spiders. all the heavy flamethrowers. I'm predicting these guys are going to have little like exosuit arm things, kind of like the what's the Morat with the extra arms? Someone will tell me in the comments, I'm sure. It's gone out of my brain.
Yeah, I can't think.
Kaitok, that's it. So yeah, extra burst heavy
There you
flamethrowers, all have got flash pulse. There's an engineer in here, paramedic, they've all got assault pistols. I like the look of these.
Not too expensive either.
They're not too expensive.
No.
Not too expensive at all.
Climbing plus 360 visor. These aren't going to be humanoid. It can't be. These should be cruel. These should be more.
Spidery.
Yeah.
They're going to have some
literally.
sort of exosuit, I think.
Yeah, they should do at that. They really should.
And then
Yeah.
in the reinforcement release, when it comes, there's going to be 2 of these Mars Spiders, a Prowler, which will be a nice new sculpt to see, 2 Kulaks, and a Rounder with a Red Fury. And then the lizard, the new sculpt of the Lizard as the Blister. Well, as a Nomad player, I'm really looking forward to these. There's some really interesting stuff in here. These are up there for me with Ariadna as enthusiasm levels and expectations.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be good. I'm hoping it's not going to be that far away. And that Lizard we've been waiting for ages.
It has
yeah,
been a while since
these
the
are really,
Lizard
really
sculpt came out. Yeah. Claw, any opinions from you other than no, make it stop?
It's not really Nomads. I don't really know them. I've only got a few models, but again, I'd like more. And I think I'd like a few of these. And basically, it's just rule of cool for me in this one. You've got Mars Crew Spiders things, and it's basically a Viper strikes force. And yeah, that's just cool. So yeah, rule of cool, definitely this one.
Absolutely good. I like this a lot.
I'm
I'm
looking
keeping
forward to
things crossed that it'll be Christmas.
I'm keeping fingers crossed we're going to see some renders in Gen Con as well.
Yeah, the Mars spider things definitely. I want to see them. I'm excited to see them. Okay, quick look in the comments. Lou Holland, hi Lou, nice to have you along. Looking forward to picking up my tower reinforcements box. Oh wait,
You've already got them. Everything you need for your tower reinforcements, you've already got.
yeah, you're the tower players. They're in front of the curve. Keith says ITS 15, probably week 1 or 2 odd in September. If past releases are true to form. That's probably about right. Arrow, looking forward to some midfield Vostok Harris. Ooh, that looks fun. He also says rounders equal securitate in jackets, and I'm fine with that. Nicola says Nomads with win reinforcements gained, coolest name, and chain of command is going to be a huge boost for any army that has no way to hide the LT, and most LTs are aggressive. So yeah, you generally are aggressive with your Nomad LTs. You don't normally hide them.
Me?
Yeah.
No, my Nomad IT is normally hidden at the back, hacking people through a repeater saying, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone.
Aaron says not really sold on chain of command myself, as if they're not on the table with the LT dies, it doesn't work. Again, we'll have to see if they tweak the rules in the drop pod kind of thing. Pete says, Lou Holland, I wish my whole army of Toa will get restarted soon. Really like the old models and the style of them. They still look great, the old Toa models, or the current Toa models. Okay, I'll move on. Ara says, even if the changes of the chain of command is too expensive by itself, it's fair enough. I'm going to zip forward a bit, see if there's anything else. Nicholas says, I want to try the reinforcement Harris with the Vostok, Mars Spider, Engineer, and a Rounder. Nikos T, hello again. Nice to have you along. Yeah, that sounds bad.
That sounds perfectly reasonable to me. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, can we just skip the next one? Because I don't think we need to talk about the next one.
You don't want to talk about Combined Army?
The what?
Okay. Are you just going to...
I'll just ignore it.
You'll just ignore it. Okay.
Well, we're going to ignore it like it's not going to happen.
Okay, but you can ignore it. We are, however, going to talk about the Commissariat.
You put the kettle on.
I'm going to put the kettle on and try and pretend it's not happening.
So, the Extra are back. And there's a bunch of new profiles this time. We've got base operators, we've got void operators, we've got vector operators, we've got exos, extra executive officers, and the Cascuda makes a impactful return.
Just the one.
Hey,
you see what I did there? Didn't you?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I like that.
Some interesting options for fire teams. I think Nexus operatives will keep the cost down for a couple of them, but still not sure how useful fire teams are going to be, as we've discussed earlier.
Do you think they got the copy and paste stuck and kept putting the word operators?
They've always been operators. That's how they've always been defined. They used to be void and vector operators, so I'm assuming it's a thing.
Smooth.
I don't think they have a smooth operator, though.
I was wondering.
So, the base operator has a dossier for it, which is missing a few weapons.
One horn. That looks okay.
I do like the art style that they've gone for, the design on them. The arms are a bit spindly.
They're robot arms.
I am wondering how much of the bug is actually the bug and how much is actually a suit.
You want to see a
bug? It's mainly a suit.
Base operator profile shows us the new look they've gone for. So they're all 6-2 move, I think. Most of them seem to have quite low BTS. They all have the extra rule, which if you didn't catch, it means if they get to unconscious, they go straight to dead.
Opposite to Svarsvasti then.
Yeah. They're crunchy on the outside, gooey on the inside, I believe was the description given by Carlos.
Nice.
I think the base operators look quite reasonable for what you get. I think they're getting a decent discount for the extra rule on the points. They're all about 20 points or just under. I don't think that seems unfair for what you're getting. And then we
It
move
doesn't
on.
scare me. This profile doesn't scare me. So
It doesn't scare me, but I think it's a good way of fleshing out your reinforcements if you've got something big and heavy that you've had to pay a lot of points for, which we'll get to in a bit. The extra executive officer, which is the one we've got a model for already, with the weird stag beetle head. Interesting profiles, I thought, on these as well. Again, 6'2", super jump. Slightly better at shooting than the base operators. Chain of command or specialists, so they're all going to be specialists.
cheap as well.
They're cheap. No, assault pistol and paralysis close combat weapons. So even though they're only close combat 14, they can actually be okay in close combat if they're putting against basic troops. If they put them at a -6. But let's be honest, they're going to be shooting more than they're going to be fighting. Well, I think they're okay. They're not expensive. Again, they don't scare me, but I don't dislike them. Vector operators, we're back to the single horn, and again we're missing some weapon designs.
That looks good.
But again, the design aesthetic hasn't really changed. I do think they're going to be tricky to tell apart.
You look at the horns.
Ah,
Got to look at the horn.
Okay.
now he likes the horns. Can't have it both ways.
One horn, two horn, frontward horn, backward horn.
Profile
Yeah.
for these,
Yeah,
all got MSV2, which I do think is nice on some of these. Still no BTS on any of these that I've seen.
so MSV2 on an extra is a slightly bigger horn.
Apparently,
What we're basically saying.
that appears to be the claw guide to recognizing your extra.
Excellent.
The Void Operator, I think the wings, it kind of looks like a bit like a mini Cascuda.
It does.
And again, different horn design as well. I think you might be onto something, Claw. Super jump. I'm sure these used to have combat jump when they were a regular profile where they weren't reinforcements. That could be my memory of first edition going slightly awry.
They might, so you can drop them in at any point rather than reinforcement, because you can't really have combat jump and reinforcement.
And on the reinforcement profiles, entirely them not having combat jump, I completely understand. But again, they've got that lovely NCO skill that you like.
Mm-hmm.
They're all all the extras seem quite reasonably priced, if not
Cheap.
fantastic profiles. And then we get on to the Cascuda, which is, let's be honest, it's the star of the show for the extra, isn't it? It's what we were all waiting to see the profile for.
It's a tag.
And we got both the reinforcement profile, where it comes in at 53 points. Obviously, it's nothing for what you
I
get.
couldn't believe how cheap that was.
And that chain rifle and combi rifle, the chain rifle with extra burst, the combi rifle with AP with +2 damage, that's just ouchy. Tactical awareness. This doesn't have the extra rule because I'm assuming because it's not actually got anyone in it. It's got remote presence. So I'm assuming there is no actual bug inside this thing. Assuming that profile is correct. And then we had
How interesting.
the profile for the non-reinforcement version, the one you can take.
The other one you're going to take.
The one that's going to land and make a large crater. And that comes in at 64 points. Yeah, so that's what? You pay 11 points more to take it so you can land in turn 1 and hurt people.
Yeah, let it die, then you can bring your next one on in round 2.
This is what I was discussing with you. I think you're going to see a lot of people taking 2. One, especially if you're playing vanilla, you can take one that's going to land in the first turn that you're just going to basically Rambo around and not care if it dies, because if it dies, there's your 50 points gone. You can bring your second one on with your reinforcements in turn 2.
Wow.
And you only have to paint one.
And you only have to paint one because you're going to get the first one killed. I like them. It's nice to see the extra back. I like the way they've done it. What do we think, though, guys? Ogre?
I like it. The Cascuda particularly, I quite like. Um, I've got enough combined army with more rats and various other bits and pieces, so these guys are just going to add to that. I think so. I think this is probably something I'll have to get. But I like them. I think they've done a nice job. I kind of it was it's when the Shazvasti started coming back, wasn't it? Where they all kind of got the same kind of spindly legs and this, that, and that. And I think you can tell they're all
Combined
sort
army.
of the same army, but different enough. But no, I like them.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
from the dossiers, it's kind of hard to tell, but my one worry looking at them is they are quite difficult to tell apart based on the dossiers. So the models are going to have to make it hopefully make it slightly easier to tell a void from a vector and a base from a void, and etc. etc.
Yeah.
Apart from,
I think my brain's going to have to try and sort of decipher one from the other as well, before, as you play them, apart from anything.
I've seen some discussion about the combat jump explosion and the BS attack +2 damage. So they're saying, does the combat jump get that +2 damage?
it's not a ballistic skill attack.
Well, it does actually say in the rule, in the actual rule, that it is a template attack. So maybe that adjusted as well. But I did notice that on the forums at some point. They were discussing, do you get that extra +2 damage for the combat jump? Which I think would be cool, because it's big and it's coming from low orbit or high orbit or whatever, and it just hit the ground. I think it'd be fine. You can always dodge out of the way anyway.
Did 53 points
Can someone just make a note that if that rolls, it's fine with the +2 damage? Claude did just say that he's fine with it when I land a Cascuda on him, and he said he was.
Yeah.
Everyone heard that, yeah?
Let me just write that down.
Sorry,
I have regrets.
Sorry, Ogre. What were you trying to say before I made sure we got that on record?
Oh, I was just asking about whether we thought 53 points was lower than we expected, because it was a lot lower than I expected.
It's going to go.
I was expecting 70, 80 by the look of the model.
But the Cascuda has come down in price from its original profile back in M1, M2 anyway. Partly because of the weaponry.
What was it?
He was at 70. I think it was 78 when I look at my book the other day.
All right. Okay.
I could be wrong. Hang on, I might have it within easy reach. Give me a second.
You could say anything. I wouldn't know. So it's 310.
I saw it somewhere. Hang on. Chat amongst yourselves, guys.
I was going to say, are you kind of accessing your own memory banks in your mind palace?
I'm on my second screen trying to find where I took a picture of
Oh,
it.
you could have just,
I could have lied. But...
maybe closed your eyes or something as the brain waves were going.
Let's have a look at see what's happening in the chat. So it gives.
That's a great idea. There's some good stuff going off in the chat.
Okay, we've got James said everyone's an operator. Do they work in a factory? Factory of death. Wow, between Ogre and Storm Shadow, the pun damage is real. Now you know how it feels for me.
It is. This is dialed down as well. This is us trying to behave.
Exo Spec Ops with Plasma Carbine and X-Files. It looks quite spicy. No, it doesn't. It looks bad. It'll get removed. It's just too bad. What no one is asking about is a remote presence on the Exo. I didn't notice that. MSV2 with boarding shotgun on the Vector operator seems a bit pointless because you are getting quite close at that point. And you don't need an MSV2 with a template weapon, do you? Let's have a quick look. Vector operator is the only good one, says Richard. Quickly scanning through them. Richard Rushford says Evo and Cascoda in vanilla combined armies that will be popular, probably. Brave going on the forums, Claw. Hope you decontaminated yourself after. I did. And
we checked.
I didn't actually get involved. I just had a look. I didn't want to get involved and hit that caps lock button or anything like that. I stood back and just observed.
It's the safest way.
And Keith says we already have the explosion rule. We do. He's just. Is it going to be a +2 damage?
My gut thing.
It's not a ballistic attack, is it?
No, I don't think it should be. So I
found attack, though.
I found a copy of the original Cascuda profile back from N1. So way back in the day, it had a multi-HMG and a heavy flamethrower, and it cost you 3 SWC and 111 points.
That's about right.
And now it's what, 64 is it now? We said.
Well, it's kind of like they've got a new model they want to sell, isn't it?
But it doesn't have the multi HMG and the heavy flamethrower anymore. It now has a chain rifle and combi rifle.
Well, you didn't really need a multi HMG on a combat jumping bug anyway.
No.
That's what an avatar's for, isn't it?
Oh, can you imagine Cascudas and avatars? Oh, that would just be nasty.
I think you struggled to get an avatar in 250 as well, though, aren't you? And are you talking about having one in reinforcement?
What a shame that is.
Yeah, I'm sure Gaz will give it a go.
I'm sure someone will find a way. Should we move on to Aleph?
Yes. Robot Overlord.
The Ankh teams. So, what did we get in here that was new? We got a couple of new tack bots, the rickshaw.
I was going to say, if the Nomads have got the best named thing, is the Ankh team the worst named thing?
Especially if you think of the symbol as a W. Yes, I think.
And no one will be able to unsee that now. So you got the.
Oh dear me!
The rickshaw.
I actually can't unsee that. I can't.
Okay.
I noticed that on the forums. I really should stay away from it.
We'll try and get back on track. You get the rickshaw tack bots, you get the Dawon tack bots, you get Maximus. They're the 3 new things, I think. Oh no, the Atalis.
Have they been around?
Asparas have been around. Atalis and Satras, I think, are new as well.
It's quite a few.
There's 5 or so new ones. I like the fact that Maximus is a duo on his own. That just amuses me. But obviously, you can team up with some of those wild cards to get your duo.
The Ciphertech, so I can fix him on the as
you move forward.
Stick his head back on the top.
That's what I'd be putting together.
So we got some more. We got the dossier art for Maximus, which is cool, with the Panzerfaust. Although I can't see on the model where he's hiding that Panzerfaust, but apparently he's got one. Then we got his profile. His reinforcement profile comes in at 71 and 76. If you want him with chain of command, and he's a tag. He's a tag profile.
He is a tag. An Armour 7 tag, which is quite impressive.
Armour 7 for Silhouette 6 is it's not shabby. Natural Born Warrior, tactical awareness. He's a decent tag. He's got bonuses to his close combat damage. He's got a rather high close combat. He is definitely
that close combat second half of the game, as was said.
Yeah. And then we have his non-reinforcement profile, which is 71 points for either him as a lieutenant or him not as a lieutenant. Other than that, his profile, I believe, was pretty much identical. I must admit, I was underwhelmed by his profile. Not because I don't think it's good. I think it is a good profile. I think he's a really solid tag. I think he's a really lovely model.
I think it's the best tag of them all that are in the reinforcements.
I just felt it felt to me like a missed opportunity. I think you could have done something more interesting to represent his shield rather than just give him extra armor. I think giving him something like armor 6 and a nano screen would have been a better representation of him using that shield to protect himself and everyone around him. And also I think would have made him more interesting to play against. Because he with armor 7, he's just like taking care of anything else with high armor. You use things that are armor piercing or K1, and you can get rid of him that way. Whereas if he was armor 6 and nano screen, armor piercing would only take away 3 points of his armor.
Mm.
Getting him out of cover would only take away 3 points of his armor. You'd want to get him with something that got rid of his cover bonus and his armor to try and take away all of his abilities. I think it would have just made him slightly more fun to play against. That's my personal opinion, but I think he's a really solid profile. I think he's going to be a pain to deal with on the board. I don't dislike him. I just feel it just feels like a bit of a missed opportunity to me.
We shall see.
Is it the immunity to crit thing? I'm just thinking about other things with shields. Is that what they've done with the shield?
Possibly. The right chair is also immune to critical hits, and that's got
They've got a big shield.
So it's got a little shield compared to this one. It's a little shield.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not grow sizist.
And then we've got.
Has anything else got crit immune? I don't know.
There's a couple of other things that have got crit immunity, I think, but the Rachel's the one that
I haven't seen immunity to possession before.
Yeah, he's going against. He's going to be going against Nomads.
You've got immunity to possession on the Avatar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So then we had Max's Render, which we've seen the model as well. And then we got the new profiles for the Dawon TACbot, the close combat remote. This thing has the potential to be very silly in close combat.
Yeah, for 19 points plus 1 burst chain rifle, or if you're too far away, flaming spear.
Well, as I think was said in the video, there's a.
And then you get close. It's just like martial arts level 2.
Yeah. As I think was said on the video that went up on tabletop, there is a REM driver profile that gives it a close combat boost to its opponent has -9 or +9, so +9 to its close combat. So it can have a close combat of 31 before martial arts, which is just getting silly.
We'll have to give it a go.
I think they're going to be quite popular.
It's only got armor 1 though, so you can shoot it at distance
if you get the chance.
Yeah.
It's also got It's also harder to hack. I don't know if you spotted that. -3 to hack with its ECM.
Oh no, not noticed that. I'm not. That's not something I know.
Yeah. It's a silhouette 2 thing, isn't it, as well? So it's going to be maybe all the blades and stuff.
Yes.
You think rather than a Crowley thing.
It's probably going to be I think it'll be a Dakini with more close combat weaponiness to it.
Yeah.
The rickshaw TACbot, which I keep wanting to call a rickshaw, again has the ECM against hacking. What do we think of this profile? 6'2", ballistic skill 12.
I'm going to take the other one.
You're going to take the other one?
Yeah.
I can understand that.
It's got Red Fury at 24 points, but that's quite expensive for a robot. It's got 3 armor, BTS 3, so it's got so it's got a bit of armor. You can dodge a little bit further. No, I'm going to take the other one. I've got nothing great to say about this one as I have against the Dawon TACbot. I'll take the Dawon TACbot every time, I think, because it's cheaper. I think it'll be better, especially if it's coming in a drop pod.
And then the reinforcement box
Bit of fun, isn't it?
is going to contain 2 rickshaws, 2 Dawons, an Artalis, etc. And then the blister will be Max without his nice scenic base. So, Claw, you like your LF? Are you excited for these? Or are you mostly excited for Max?
I'm mostly excited for Max and the close combat bot. Max, I think I'd probably want to take him as the lieutenant because he's cheaper. He's on the board from the word go. He's got all that armor. He can just be chomping way up the board. He can stop that first turn Chaska from landing, or at least be a deterrent from that first one coming along. So I think I'd probably take him as the lieutenant option, or at least have him on the board from the word go. I don't think I'd bring him in as a reinforcement. I think I'd bring the Killybots in as reinforcements on this one. But yeah, I kind of like some of these. I'm looking forward to seeing the models of those tech box. But yeah, I like them.
Well,
I'm looking forward to this one.
There's also, we didn't see the profiles for the Artalis and the Satra, which are new as well. So I think you can tell from the way that they went through the releases which ones are further down the list with regards to the release schedule, maybe a little bit further down the line for their plans. So maybe we'll get a bit more info about them at Gen Con. But I'm interested to see the profiles for the other units we didn't see during the week on the 3rd to see how that all rounds out. What about yourself, Ogre? Thoughts on Aleph?
This box doesn't excite me really at all. I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of looking at Steel Phalanx a little bit, but I think it's all. If I do anything with it, it'll be Maximus and a couple of bits. Maybe that exist already or something. But no, I don't know. Just not my thing. I'm not a bot person really. So I don't know. Must be the Ariadna in me. But it's more. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not really my thing. I do like the Maximus though. I'm quite looking forward to that arriving and be doing a bit of painting on it. But yeah, not really bothered to really think about the rest of it.
The Max sculpt is lovely, and I think it's a really, really nice model. He's one of my favourite characters in Aristea. And maybe that's why I feel like the profile feels like a bit of a wasted opportunity. I'm probably alone. So
I like it. Let's have a look. So what people at home think. Richard says Rock'em Sock'em Robot's the best profile. Probably is. I think it probably is, especially about massive CC. Keith says Steel Phallus with W Hank program. Very phallic. Right, start reading it. Pete says my biggest question in mind is that Ciphertex comes with with the net rods out again. That package when you used to get the net rods and the Ciphertex in the one pack. I wonder if that's going to come out again.
I think they could do the new Ciphertex sculpt.
They could. I was never a fan of that. Yeah, we're never a fan of that floating base thing. That didn't work. It didn't work for me. Okay, lovely to see a live stream from Fast Panda when I've just got back off my holidays. Nice to see have you on board. Steve says Maximum is leading the way for the ANK program. It could get messy with a chap to his statue.
+1 burst on these templates, is it?
Yeah. Marimar has crit immune and a shield, so it could be a shield thing. Psychic Storm, good evening. Am I at the end of the stream? No, I think we've still got quite a bit to go. Nikos T, I think Fiddler and Yojimbo have crit immunity for some reason. The Avatar is a monster. Yes, the Avatar is a monster. I think everybody agrees with that. Steve Cooper, the Dawson is is absolutely mental. Add Rem Driver and they get considerably better. Richard says not sure Rem Driver works because of the new wording.
Yeah, I've read that somewhere as well about they've got to be attached at the start or something, not halfway through the game.
So that pans out.
If the Dawan is available as a normal profile, that would be scary.
It also starts further back though, doesn't it? So you got more chance of shooting it on the way in. Daron could be the CB homage to the strike from the Hyperion.
That's a reference I don't get. The strike from the Hyperion.
No, neither do I.
I'm obviously getting old.
You are. Arrow says that's a question of how much the profiles aren't ready and how much we need to save stuff for Gen Con. Probably a bit of both. Oh yeah, they've put the profiles out and they need to save a bit for Gen Con and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so what we got next?
We have the non-aligned armies. or with the most unoriginal backup name, contracted backup.
I noticed on the files there's no Toa.
There were no images that came out from the Toha video. I didn't get any images from the Toha video. There weren't any.
Nobody cares.
That's not entirely true. So contracted backup again. They don't get anything new either that I saw, apart from the freelance operator Samsa. But everything else we have seen before, some of which are quite solid profiles. Some interesting combinations for fire teams, brawlers with monster truckers, and stuff like that. I think it's quite interesting.
The Anaconda's a good tag.
Is it? Okay. And then we'll come back to that. The freelance operator Samsa is an extra doing freelance work. They just cannot be trusted, can they? These bugs.
Didn't they get into trouble before for doing?
Yeah, have they not learnt their lesson from the last time? Some nice artwork, a bit more dynamic. And
yeah, two-horned fella.
The render for the model, which I think Vostri said is going to be the ITS winners model for the next season.
That's all right. I don't need one anyway.
Certainly seems to be what he was inferring. I think it's a nice model, nice sculpt. And then the profile is a decent ballistic skill. Ballistic skill 13, -3 mimetism, super jump specialist.
Why has it got infiltration if it's a reinforcements? Or
There's two profiles. This is the profile that every faction apart from Combined Army are going to get. Which so JSA, Spiral Corps, and all generic armies, as it says at the bottom. I think this is quite a nice profile. I don't think it's going to necessarily be taken that often, because I think 30 points is quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's
like 5 brawlers.
Well, when you compare it to something that we got in a similar sort of role, were available to all generic armies except blah, the Liberto. He's no Liberto. He's the Liberto at 8 points is an absolute bargain. This guy is not at 30 points. But
he's got 3 armor. He's not bad. He's got 3 armor. That 6-2 movement is always handy.
He's got 3 armor and he's going to explode when he dies because he's an extra. Not literally explode, but he's just going to leak everywhere and not be recoverable. And then the reinforcement profile is similar, but no infiltration.
Surprise price. That's cheaper, 26 points, but then you got him for 1 turn less. The plasma rifle and decharges, I think that's going to be quite a cool on it.
I do think it was a bit of a shame. I understand why but all the non-aligned armies are stuck with the same reinforcements.
It could have been a lot more flavorful.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot easier to update army with them all being the same. But I don't know. I understand it, but I'm not sure I like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They've done it for practical reasons, but it could have been cool.
Oh,
Ogre, did you have any interesting thoughts on these guys, or any thoughts at all?
I don't think I ever have any interesting thoughts, do I? I don't know. Like you say, it's a little disappointing, but I mean, it's quite difficult, isn't it, to have done everything different. I think it would have been nice for JSA to get something different, wouldn't it? Or maybe take a. I was when we saw the pictures when they came out. I thought that one of the guys was Hannibal, from the A team. I was kind of half hoping that the reinforcements would be the A team for A2, and the A team would just drop in and save the day.
In a black drop pod with a red stripe on it. Yeah.
Exactly. But that didn't happen. So
the one thing I was
slightly
surprised.
disappointed.
One thing I was surprised wasn't included is that the Soldiers of Fortune. I know they're all in 4Co, but
yeah, exactly.
So the ones who were in Aristea. So I can't remember the names now. The one who the Deadpool. Lakshmi, Hannibal.
The woman with the big shield.
Valkyrie and the
That's
one.
her.
You've got the other one, Claw. He looks like Deadpool. And my mind's gone blank.
Oh,
Senor
Senor Massacre. Thank you. Yes, I was kind of expecting them to be in there, and I was surprised they weren't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you pretty much just said. I said like the 18.
Yeah,
didn't arrive. So,
but
yeah, you never know. I think they've got time. They'll have opportunities in the future to tweak things, haven't they? So, it might not be the end yet. Even though it's the end song, I guess.
Yeah. Ara says he'd rather run the Anaconda than the Iguana in Foco. Fair enough. Psychic Storm says the Avatar has immunity to possession because the alien architecture makes it impossible to hack. It is that hard. Maximus? Question mark. Probably wears a tag as power armor, so that's probably why he's difficult to hack. Peter says the worst reinforcements ever. It fits none of the factions right. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Keith says you can run 3 Anacondas in some NA2. Why would you?
Nice.
Then we've got best extra profile is the Samza. I'm not sure about that, Richard. Psychic Storm said Samza is such a nice name for an extra. A local JSA player was looking forward to a plasma rifle in the faction because that's all you need. Gives the armies that struggle against bears plasma. Yeah. Kroby says BS-30 mimetism -3 rifle is nice to be able to add to any generic army. Psychic Storm, Senior Massacre has just reminded you. Arrow says, I did want an available 2 for the Soldiers of Fortune for the Foco, as it would have been hilarious. It would.
I'm assuming there will be something in the rules that says name characters are an AVA 1, whether they're in your main list or in your reinforcements. You can't have them twice.
Zale8 says, I'm hoping that the Nomad Casino unit goes into the Foco.
I suppose that is always a possibility. They when we get the army update, the reinforcements may include things for the armies that the parent factions for those mercenary companies. That is true. Hopefully.
Right.
So the last faction we've got to cover, if that's all the comments, is O12, because they are the last one on army. And I appear to have got my slides in the wrong order. So we'll start with the reinforcement box, which apparently is going to contain 3 jackboots, a couple of Vidocs and a Ment Agent, and then the Nightshade is going to be the blister on its own. The jackboot profile is the next side I've got. Immunity total is their only skill.
What else do you need?
Yeah, that pretty much covers it.
Nobody wants immunity total. That is probably the worst thing ever. You spend all this money on fancy ammo and they're just like wasted. Anyway,
I loved the pictures we saw for the jackboots with the big coats and stuff. I think the profiles are quite nice as well. I don't think they're exceptional, but I think they're quite nice. I think they're going to be a nice way to round out your reinforcement block. An NCO Spitfire is definitely going to be appreciated.
30 points you're paying for him.
Yeah. And speaking of the profiles, I have the render up next, which is, he did say, was very much a work in profile, a work in progress. Especially, it doesn't have the helmet, which I thought was an interesting decision on the render after seeing the pictures, the artwork. But he looks pretty cool.
These are the ones where he had somebody else's trousers he kept talking about.
Yes, he's got Saladin's trousers. Which makes me wonder what's happened to Saladin's trousers. What's he wearing? Dossier for the jackboots, again, very cool. I think the helmet's one of the nicest parts. I think I was surprised it wasn't on the render that we saw. Ment agents, chain of command, stealth, and a biometric visor. Someone else who can completely fail to spot assassins when they come to kill my lieutenant.
Hey!
+2 burst on a heavy riot stopper, I thought was quite nice.
For 15 points, stick him in the back. Yeah.
Just anyone who comes near you, you're just going to glue them in place.
Yeah. And sneak around with his stealth as well, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And there's a hacker option as well.
There is a hacker option.
So you can have that specialist keeping around as well.
You can.
Oh, they all change your command, so they get that anyway. So
the Ment agent that we saw a render for, I thought was a very nice looking render, quite a cool model, quite generic. I could see that being used in a lot of places outside of Infinity as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hairstyle. Oh no, she's wearing a cap, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's wearing a cap.
Yeah, that is I really like that. That is nice.
And then we have the dossier for the Ment agent. Light shotguns, riot stoppers, what we expected. I'm sorry, I've got these slides completely out of order. I'll come back to that one at the end. The Vidocq profile, -3 mimetism, stealth, more NCO, terrain total. I thought these were okay.
we haven't seen many doctors in the new stuff, to be honest.
There aren't as many as I was expecting. No, I was expecting more people coming in to heal you up the wall. There's a few in Haqqislam, but not as many as I was expecting.
There's always loads in Haqqislam. That's not unusual.
Yeah.
But having a doctor in your reinforcements is I think it's going to be handy.
And then we saw the sculpt for the Vidocq, which the leather woman sat on the box with O12 stamped on it.
I love that. Great.
It's an awesome sculpt. I don't think it's going to be a model we see unless they get a profile update, because there are no Vidocq profiles with a submachine gun, which is what she's holding. If you go back,
I thought you were going to say with a box.
No. If you go back to the profiles, there's a couple of profiles with boarding shotgun, one with a multi-marksman rifle, and that is clearly a submachine gun that woman is holding.
The recoil
says submachine gun on the bottom left.
Yeah. The dossier for it again shows the weapon profiles that match up with the that we saw on the stats. Nightshades. Now these look interesting.
Are these the ninja fellas?
These are the ninja looking fellas. Yeah. Martial arts level 3, courage -6 mimetism, stealth, super jump, and terrain total.
Oh joy, drop bears.
Drop bears, paralysis, close combat weapons to go with their martial arts. They're gonna be
24 points. Got drop bears. This is going to be a nightmare. You took a drop bear around the corner, come around the corner. Do you want to do anything? Yeah, it's just
not a fan.
This is going to be horrible to deal with. Martial arts level 3, mimetism -6. How is that 24 points? Really, it's just. Did they break the calculator when they were working out the points? So it's got my mimetism -6. That should be an extra +30. It's got martial arts level 3. It's got drop bears, decharges for all your close combat fun with your enemy tag for 24 points. It's just.
It's good for the points, isn't it? Absolutely.
But it looks really cool. I mean, the artwork looks awesome on that we moved on to.
It makes me want to buy it. O12. I've never really had an interest in O12, but now he's here.
But he's coming in an individual blister. I think if you played JSA and you wanted another sculpt for Nani Waban, that would look fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think he does look ace.
He does. He does look good.
I'm not sure about the render that we've seen with the multi-sniper rifle. I'm not sure how many times I'd want to take a sniper rifle variant of it.
You want to get up close and personal with this guy. You don't want to take the sniper rifle.
And then the dossier shows him with the boarding shot with the various options, which he looks awesome. So now going completely out of order because we're professional. The Gladius team loadout that you get, which you have 4 of the jackboots, 2 of the ment agents, 2 of those vidocs. You can get bronzes, hopefully.
Yeah, you need more bronzes.
Yeah. And 2 of those nightshades, Claw. You'll be pleased to know.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't have an O12 army, and that nightshade is.
It's tempting
really,
you, is it?
It is. Because I've got Dakinis, I've got the Diva functionaries, I can bring them already. Got your good bots. I've got half the army.
I did like that the Seku droids and the Sarkos are in here that had previously been released just for Starmada. So it gives you a reason to get them if you don't play the sectorial, which I think is quite nice. But I thought they were. I thought O12 did okay out of all this. I don't think they came out with a particularly fantastic set of options, but nothing. It wasn't terrible. I'm looking forward to trying them. I think things like bronzes can certainly benefit from being able to deploy further up the board and not having to walk up there with getting shot along the way. Any thoughts from yourself, Ogre?
I've actually, I was going to say, I'm a bit with Gloria. I actually quite like these. It's almost made me want to look at O12 as a possibility for an army. Just
almost, maybe.
Okay. The rest of them, I'm not so sure on, but I think there's less of that kind of gold piping stuff on the pictures and things that we've seen, which I think is possibly what put me off them in the first place. But I quite like these. I'm going to be interested to see what they look like when they properly come out.
Yeah, they feel like they're quite a way down the list in some regards.
Yeah.
Okay, Claw, are we all caught up? Do we have many things to talk about?
I don't think there's many things. There's a few things. Nicola says the NA non-aligned armies is a big miss. They all had a chance to bring something new and interesting and characterful to NA non-aligned armies. Imagine expandables, NA2 reinforcement, for example. I think we're all in agreement that they wanted something flavorful and we didn't really get it. So I think that's probably a big disappointment. We've got Richard saying Met agents before heavy right stopper, or if they get dodge, burst 5 assault pistol when they're in link. Met agents with a burst 4 heavy right stopper.
So yeah, because of the fire team bonuses, you're either going to be 4 big templates or the assault pistol at close range. It puts your opponent in a tricky situation.
Sticky, definitely.
I thought I was the one being told off for doing bad puns.
Oh yeah. Steve says, do you think biometric visors will get a rule change? They're a bit limited at the present. Maybe.
I think they have a very specific function. And they're designed to get through impersonation. Bear in mind, there are more and more things with impersonation, or the possibility to impersonate with killer hacking devices out there, giving you cyber mask.
That's a good point. Good point.
Psychic Storm says, I think she's talking about the Ment agent. She will definitely be joining the ranks of my counts as bounty hunters, along with the Vidoc.
Mm-hmm.
She does look good. Vidoc render requires a witty quip every time. Nicola says the Hacker Nightshade is a classified destroyer. What it's like, 14 objectives on its own. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
At the moment, bear in mind the classified deck is changing this year.
Things are and they're going to remake some because they haven't made any for years. The SMG always gets a weird and silly discount.
It does.
Tanko Siler from the tabletop Shogun. Hi guys, I thought I'd catch you guys on my break. It's nice to have you along, mate. Steve Cooper, the Nightshade don't really have ref prefix on the profile, so it may be that they're a reinforcement unit only. That might explain the points cost. I didn't notice that. Well spotted, Steve. And that's it for the comments.
And that's it for slides. That is every slide I managed to capture from all of the stuff we got told last week, which was a lot. And we have been talking for a long time.
Yeah, we do.
2 hours. We do apologise for wittering for so long. But I think there was loads of information last week, and obviously a lot of it's subject to change, and there were some profiles that were put up that weren't quite right. But I thought, overall, I enjoyed the week. I thought there was loads of information, and it was nice to have so much new stuff to sort of mull over and chew through. And I'm really excited for the 3rd of August.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the rules. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the rules, seeing how they're going to work, seeing how they're going to work when you're landing in a minefield or sort of where it's covered in pitches and all that kind of stuff. How's that going to work? All that kind of technical stuff.
Chain of command.
How's that going to work? There's lots of things in there that we really need to know. And so I'm looking forward to finding out exactly how the rules work, as well as I might have to start new armies. But I'm currently painting up my Ujax, so we can play that first game as soon as we can.
Your closing thoughts, Ogre?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the pictures of the new models, to be honest. I think that's the main thing. The rules will get clarified, won't they? I suspect there'll be people panicking about them when they come out, as always. And then a few days down the line, we'll all realise it's absolutely fine. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the models, to be honest, in the next week or two, when Gen Con comes around. But I'm quite excited, really. It's interesting, isn't it? A new way to play, new reasons to try different things. There's going to be loads of new missions and, kind of different sort of ways of putting your army together. Probably we're going to be using new models that we've never used before, even stuff that exists. So I'm probably going to, over the next week, have a look through everything Ariadna and Hack-wise and see what I can buy now before the games start, and then hopefully I'll get a bit of a kickstart. Get myself going on what I'm painting. So I don't have a massive amount of stuff when the new boxes come out.
There's not a sudden rush and desperate to do stuff. Well, from me, thank you all very much for tuning in to watch this. I hope you are all looking forward to the reinforcements rules and army update as much as we are, and we will have it on the channel as soon as we can. I can imagine we'll be playing a game with the new rules a day or two after they drop. What do you reckon, Claw?
It depends on where they drop. If it's a Tuesday, might have to wait till Friday, but
Yeah. So we have taken up enough of your Monday evening. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.